Many people spend years counting down to their retirement date. They celebrate paying off the mortgage, imagine more time with family, or start planning trips they've postponed for decades. But one of the biggest surprises is that the retirement date itself is often not the most important decision. The choices you make in the months leading up to that day can affect your income, taxes, healthcare costs, and financial security for years to come. That's why this period before retirement deserves just as much attention as retirement itself. If you're planning to retire in 2026, or even if you're still a year or two away, this is an excellent time to review the decisions that are easiest to make while you're still working. Some of these steps can increase your retirement income. Others can help reduce unnecessary taxes or prepare you for healthcare costs that many people underestimate. The encouraging news is that most of these decisions don't require complicated financial knowledge. They simply require knowing what to review before you leave your job. So, let's walk through 10 smart moves that can help you enter retirement with greater confidence. We'll begin with one that many people overlook because they're focused on the calendar instead of the bigger picture. Smart move number 1. Don't choose your retirement date without reviewing your income plan. It's natural to pick a retirement date based on personal goals. Maybe you want to retire on your birthday. Maybe you want to finish one last project at work. Or perhaps you've simply decided that next spring feels like the right time. Those reasons certainly matter. But your retirement date also affects how your income will begin. Think of retirement as replacing your paycheck with several different income sources. Instead of one employer depositing money into your bank account every 2 weeks, you may receive income from several places, including Social Security, retirement savings, pensions if you have one, and personal savings. The question becomes, will those income sources work together smoothly? Imagine David and Linda, both 65 years old. David plans to retire in June, while Linda expects to retire at the end of the year. At first glance, 6 months doesn't seem like a major difference, but those extra months could allow them to save more into retirement accounts, earn additional wages, delay withdrawals from savings, and give them more flexibility in deciding when to claim Social Security benefits. For some households, even a small adjustment to the retirement date can make the transition easier. That's why it's helpful to map out your first year of retirement before you stop working. Ask yourself a few practical questions. When will your final paycheck arrive? When will your health insurance through work end? When do you expect Social Security benefits to begin, if you've decided to claim them? Will you need to withdraw money from your retirement savings before other income begins? Seeing these dates on a simple calendar often reveals gaps that can be planned for ahead of time, instead of becoming stressful surprises later. And that leads directly to another important decision. Smart move number 2. Review when you'll claim Social Security. For many retirees, Social Security becomes the foundation of monthly retirement income. But one of the most common misunderstandings is believing that you must begin receiving Social Security as soon as you retire. Those are actually two separate decisions. Retiring means you stop working. Claiming Social Security means you choose when to begin receiving your monthly benefit. Depending on your situation, those dates may be the same, or they may not. Based on current Social Security rules, your monthly benefit depends partly on the age at which you begin claiming. Starting earlier generally means a smaller monthly benefit. Waiting longer, if it fits your financial situation, can increase your monthly payment up to age 70. Social Security Administration. That doesn't mean delaying is always the right choice. The best timing depends on several factors, including your health, expected retirement income, family situation, and overall financial needs. Suppose Susan plans to retire at age 64 and a half. She has enough savings to cover her expenses for a while and wants to understand whether waiting to claim Social Security could provide a larger monthly benefit later. On the other hand, Robert plans to retire at 67 and needs Social Security income immediately because it will cover a significant portion of his monthly expenses. Both are making reasonable decisions based on their own circumstances. The important lesson is not to assume there's one correct age for everyone. Instead, understand the trade-offs before filing your claim. Have you already estimated what your monthly benefit could be at different claiming ages? Many people are surprised when they compare those estimates side by side. Even if you've looked before, it's worth reviewing them again as retirement gets closer. Because the next decision often catches retirees off guard even more than Social Security timing. Smart move number 3. Understand what Medicare will and won't cover. Healthcare is one of the largest expenses many retirees face, and while many people know that Medicare helps cover healthcare after age 65, it's easy to assume it pays for everything. It doesn't. Medicare is the federal health insurance program primarily for people age 65 and older, along with some younger people who qualify because of certain disabilities. Different parts of Medicare help pay for different types of care. For example, Medicare Part A generally helps cover inpatient hospital care for eligible individuals. Medicare Part B generally helps cover doctor visits, outpatient care, preventive services, and many medically necessary services. Even with Medicare, retirees can still have deductibles, which are amounts you pay before certain coverage begins, along with other out-of-pocket costs, depending on the services you receive and the type of coverage you choose. That's why many retirees also compare additional coverage options, such as Medicare supplement insurance or Medicare Advantage plans, depending on their needs. Imagine Carol is preparing to retire just before turning 65. She's focused on replacing her income, but she hasn't yet compared her healthcare choices. By spending a little time reviewing enrollment timelines, expected costs, and available coverage before retiring, she avoids making rushed decisions later. Healthcare planning isn't only about today's medical needs. It's also about making sure you're prepared if your healthcare needs change over time. And speaking of preparation, there's another area that deserves attention before your final day at work. It has less to do with healthcare and more to do with the savings you've spent years building. We'll look at that next, including a simple review that many future retirees wish they had completed before leaving their job. Before your final day at work arrives, there's one question that's worth asking yourself. Have you made a clear plan for the retirement savings you've spent years building? Many people devote decades to contributing to a workplace retirement plan, yet when retirement finally arrives, they aren't quite sure what happens next. They know the money is there, but they haven't decided how they'll use it, how long it needs to last, or how withdrawals might affect their taxes. The good news is that you don't have to figure everything out overnight. A thoughtful review before you retire can make those first few years much less stressful. Let's look at the next 3 smart moves. Smart move number 4. Create a withdrawal strategy before you need one. Saving for retirement and spending in retirement are 2 very different skills. During your working years, the goal is usually straightforward. Contribute regularly and allow your investments time to grow. Retirement changes the question. Now the challenge becomes deciding when and how much to withdraw. If you have a 401k, a retirement savings account offered through many employers, or an individual retirement account, often called an IRA, those accounts may become an important source of monthly income after you stop working. Many retirees simply transfer a random amount to their checking account whenever expenses come up. That approach can work for a short period, but over time it may become difficult to track spending, manage taxes, or ensure your savings last as long as you need them to. Instead, try thinking of your retirement savings as creating your own paycheck. Suppose Mike retires at 66. He estimates his monthly living expenses, subtracts the income he'll receive from Social Security and a small pension, then determines how much needs to come from his retirement savings each month. Rather than making large, unpredictable withdrawals throughout the year, he develops a consistent schedule. That makes budgeting easier and helps him monitor how quickly his savings are being used. Every retirement looks different, so there's no single withdrawal strategy that fits everyone. However, having a plan before your first withdrawal is generally easier than trying to create one after unexpected expenses begin to appear. There's another reason planning ahead matters. The amount you withdraw may also affect your taxes. Smart move number 5. Don't let taxes surprise you. Many people expect their taxes to disappear after retirement. In reality, retirement can simply change how you're taxed. Depending on your circumstances, income from retirement accounts, pensions, part-time work, and even a portion of Social Security benefits may affect your overall tax situation. That's why reviewing taxes before retirement, not after, can be so valuable. For example, withdrawals from many traditional IRAs and traditional 401k accounts are generally taxable because those contributions often receive tax advantages when they were originally made. By contrast, qualified withdrawals from a Roth IRA, which is funded with money that has already been taxed, are generally tax-free under current IRS rules if the requirements are met. That difference can influence which accounts you choose to withdraw from first. Imagine Karen has both a traditional IRA and a Roth IRA. Instead of automatically taking money from only one account, she reviews how different withdrawal amounts could affect her taxable income each year. That review helps her make more informed decisions rather than reacting at tax time. Another important point involves timing. Some retirees retire halfway through the year after earning several months of salary. That means their income during the transition year may look different from future retirement years. Understanding that difference ahead of time can help avoid surprises when filing a tax return. You don't need to become a tax expert. You simply want to understand where your retirement income is coming from and how different withdrawals may affect your overall financial picture. And while we're discussing retirement accounts, there's another rule that's easy to overlook because it may not affect you immediately. Even so, it's worth understanding before retirement begins. Smart move number 6. Know the rules for required minimum distributions. One of the longest names in retirement planning is also one of the most important. Required minimum distributions, often shortened to RMDs, are the minimum amounts that many people must eventually withdraw each year from certain tax-deferred retirement accounts. In simple terms, the government doesn't allow money to remain in many tax-deferred retirement accounts forever without eventually being withdrawn. Under current law, many retirees must begin taking required minimum distributions starting at age 73, although future changes in federal law could affect retirement rules over time. If you're retiring before that age, you may think this rule doesn't matter yet, but understanding it now can help you make better long-term decisions. Imagine James retires at 65. He has 8 years before required minimum distributions are scheduled to begin. Those years give him flexibility to think carefully about how and when he'll use his retirement savings, instead of waiting until withdrawals become mandatory. Someone retiring closer to age 73 has less time to prepare. Knowing your expected timeline helps you avoid being caught off guard later. The important takeaway isn't to memorize every IRS rule. It's simply to know that retirement accounts often come with future withdrawal requirements, and those requirements can influence your long-term income strategy. Many retirees find that learning about these rules early makes future planning much less overwhelming. So far, we've talked about income, taxes, and retirement savings. But before you leave your career behind, there's another area that deserves just as much attention. And unlike investment returns or tax laws, this one is often within your direct control. It's your debt. Even retirees with solid savings sometimes discover that monthly loan payments reduce the flexibility they worked so hard to achieve. In the next section, we'll look at practical ways to strengthen your financial foundation before retirement, including why reducing certain debts, reviewing your emergency savings, and updating important documents can provide greater peace of mind during the years ahead. So far, we've covered your retirement date, Social Security, Medicare, retirement savings, taxes, and future withdrawal rules. Now let's focus on 3 practical steps that can make everyday retirement feel more comfortable and less stressful. Smart move number 7, reduce high-interest debt before you retire. Many people hope to enter retirement with as little debt as possible, and there's a good reason for that. Once your regular paycheck stops, monthly income often becomes more predictable. If a large portion of that income goes toward high-interest credit card balances or personal loans, you may have less flexibility for everyday expenses or unexpected costs. Imagine Tom plans to retire at 66. He uses his final working year to pay down a high-interest credit card instead of carrying that payment into retirement. That gives him more room in his monthly budget once he stops working. Not every debt needs to be eliminated immediately, but reviewing what you owe before retirement can help you decide which balances deserve priority. Smart move number 8, build an emergency fund. Retirement doesn't eliminate unexpected expenses. A car repair, a home maintenance issue, or an uncovered medical bill can happen at any time. That's why having cash set aside for emergencies is just as important after retirement as it is during your working years. Instead of withdrawing money from your retirement accounts every time an unexpected bill appears, an emergency fund can help cover those costs while keeping your long-term retirement plan on track. Even a modest cash reserve can provide valuable peace of mind. Ask yourself, if an unexpected expense came up next month, Would I know exactly how I'd pay for it? Smart move number 9. Review your important documents. Retirement is also a good time to make sure your financial and legal documents are up to date. Review the beneficiaries on your retirement accounts and life insurance policies. A beneficiary is simply the person who receives those assets if you pass away. It's also wise to review documents such as a will, healthcare directive, or financial power of attorney if you already have them. For example, Susan retired after her children were grown. During her retirement checklist, she realized one of her retirement accounts still listed an old beneficiary from many years earlier. Updating that information only took a few minutes, but ensured her wishes were reflected correctly. These reviews may not feel urgent, but they're much easier to handle before an unexpected situation arises. One final smart move ties everything together, and it's something many successful retirees continue doing long after they leave the workforce. We've covered 9 important steps. Now let's finish with one final move that can help keep your retirement plan on track for years to come. Smart move number 10. Review your retirement plan every year. Retirement isn't something you plan once and forget. Your spending, healthcare needs, taxes, and financial goals can all change over time. That's why it's a good idea to set aside time once a year to review your plan. Ask yourself, has my monthly spending changed? Do I still have enough emergency savings? Should I review my Social Security or Medicare decisions? Have my investment or income needs changed? A simple annual review can help you catch small issues before they become bigger problems. Imagine Bill and Mary retired at 65. Every January, they spend an afternoon reviewing their income, expenses, savings, and healthcare coverage. Most years, they make only a few small adjustments, but those small adjustments help keep their retirement plan on track. Retirement isn't about making perfect decisions. It's about making informed decisions and reviewing them as life changes. Final thoughts. If you're planning to retire in 2026, now is the perfect time to prepare. The months before retirement often provide the greatest opportunity to make thoughtful financial decisions. Today, we covered 10 smart moves. Review your retirement income plan. Think carefully about when to claim Social Security. Understand your Medicare options. Create a withdrawal strategy. Plan for taxes. Learn the basics of required minimum distributions. Reduce high-interest debt. Build an emergency fund. Update important documents. Review your retirement plan every year. You don't have to complete everything in one week. Even taking one step at a time can make retirement feel more organized and more secure. The key takeaway is simple. Retirement isn't just about reaching a certain age. It's about being financially prepared for the years ahead. Before you stop working, create your own checklist and start reviewing these items. Your future self will likely appreciate the time you invested today. If you found this guide helpful, consider sharing it with a friend or family member who's also preparing for retirement. And if you'd like more straightforward explanations about Social Security, Medicare, retirement planning, and taxes, be sure to follow the channel and stay informed. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.